Hello everybody and welcome back to Waveland Park. In the last episode 2 weeks ago we built this beautiful habitat for our red crowned cranes where we will have a look at right now. We also do have a little baby. We might not see it right now, but we do have a little baby in there. And in today's episode we are going to build right here. What we are going to do is we are going to build a building. No habitat for the Asian small-clawed otters. We are building a building. And the first thing I wanted to do was something that I had in my mind that I really wanted to do for quite a long time. I wanted to have something like a flower wall, and that is what I'm going to do right here. I'm going to I took the black concrete walls and put in some of a little bit of greenery, and then many different beautiful flowers in between. I chose black because I wanted to have a very crass contrast to all the flowers that I wanted to put in there, and have many different and colorful flowers to have a lot of variety in there. I saw these kind of flower walls in I think it was at a barber shop many years ago. And from that moment on, I was in love with that. I also created something for my bedroom like this, with a little frame, and took lots of plastic flowers and glued them on there. And I really loved that idea, and I wanted to have something like this in the game. That was the first thing that was in my mind. And just for you to see how my mind works. Sometimes it's just the little things like this here, which puts a seed in my mind, and I am going to build something around it. So there was the idea of this flower wall, and I had to come up with an idea, where do I put this? So the only thing that made sense for me was to put it in a building. And what kind of building would we need right here in that corner of the park? Yeah, for sure, we need a restaurant. So the idea was born, and I tried to come up with some ideas. And as you know, I am not very happy when it comes to building buildings. I don't like that as much as creating new habitats, and though I'm getting better with building stuff, I'm still not cheering and saying once more a restaurant, I can't wait to build another one. So that is something that usually don't happen. I wanted to have something with a round shape once again, as so many times in this park. And I thought I wanted it to be in this area here, because we have lots of space, and the habitat after all would have been too big for the small-clawed otters. So I thought it would be a perfect fit for a restaurant. Creating the path for it was very challenging, because I wanted to have stairs and also 2 ramps, because I wanted it to be what is the word in English? In Germany we say barrier free, so you can enter with a wheelchair. Accessible, something like that. So the next thing that I wanted to do was to have a restaurant with an underwater viewing gallery. So you would enter the restaurant on the upper level and then go downstairs, have the seating area downstairs, with a huge glass wall where you can look into the habitat of the animals. So in this case, where you can look into the habitat of the small clawed otters when they are taking a dive or something. Yeah, that was something that I definitely wanted to do. Not in particular with the underwater viewing area. I also was thinking about something for maybe some big cats or something like that. Well, not in Waveland Park because we won't have any cats in there. Yeah, so I wanted to have a restaurant where you have this beautiful viewing gallery into the habitat of the animals, so that you sit on the table close to the window and you have the animals right next to you. So this was the idea behind all of that. And yeah, once again, I had a little bit of a problem because I didn't think it completely through. You can see it right here. Yeah, of course, the building was a little bit too small, so I couldn't fit in the actual restaurant. So I had to come up with another idea. So I thought, let's give our restaurant a second entrance where we can not only put the flower wall into, but yeah, where we can also hide the restaurant underneath. So what I was doing was I made the access for the restaurant on the lower level of the round-shaped building, and had another seating area with the flower wall on the upper level. So you can sit underground under the water and watch the animals from there. And you can also sit on the upper level, have a beautiful look into the actual habitat of the animals. So yeah, here you can already see the view is completely underwater for our guests in the restaurant. And we also will have a balcony from the upper restaurant level to the lower level. So something like yeah, if you have ever been to the opera or to a theater, so where you're sitting on the balcony to have a nice view to the stage. So yeah, you can imagine it like that. In the background, you also saw already what I was planning, or what I am planning for the otter habitat. I wanted to have a small path going around it on the upper level, which was also a little bit challenging because I planned all of this so beautifully, and in the end I was thinking, oh my gosh, you forgot something very important. As you could have seen just a few minutes ago, when we had a look at the habitat, the whole lower area, when you leave the croc aviary and on the opposite side of the crane gardens, the whole area is underwater viewing. So there is no possible entrance for our keepers to enter the habitat. So the only possible entrance for our keepers would have been where I am now building the upper part of the restaurant. So this was a problem. So I decided I would have this small path around the habitat on the upper side, and in a later stage, you might not see it in this video, maybe in the next one, I had to come up with an idea where to put the actual keeper's gate. Yeah, this was very, very, very challenging, and I hope that in the future I will think about these things so much earlier and don't start building things and then having to deal with the outcome, and coming up with some very creative ideas how to fix the things. Yeah, but in the end, I fixed it. I managed to put in the keeper's gate, and hopefully, as the habitat isn't finished, or I didn't even start with it, yeah, hopefully it will work. Yeah, so the next part here was to build the entrance to the restaurant. I wanted the restaurant to look something like a upper class restaurant. Is it the correct word? Would you say something like that, or do you say luxury restaurant? I think that's the word. Yeah, so I didn't want it to be something like a fast food restaurant where you can have your burgers, pizza, hot dogs, and stuff like that. But yeah, fine dining, that's the word. I wanted it to be a fine dining restaurant and give it a little bit of a Hollywood vibe. So what I did here was to have a big entrance door with this kind of stage where you enter the restaurant, and yeah, also have something like a little red carpet. I wanted to have a red carpet that is going down the ramp to the path, but in the end, yeah, it was a little bit too much, so I decided to not do that. I also thought of putting one of our staff right in front of the building, like a welcome desk, so where you can tell the staff that you have a reservation and they will bring you to your table or something like that, or like you have in valet parking. Yeah, but in the end I didn't do that because the space was a little bit too small, and it wouldn't have worked because yeah, the staff could have left. I would have needed a little more space where I could put the stuff in where they can't run away or leave the spot. Yeah, here you can see how I am building stuff in this circle shape. Building domes in Planet Zoo is pretty easy. When you begin with building domes, you usually build some kind of a wall and some kind of a roof. So you build the whole shell of your building in one step. So that is something that I don't do anymore, because you always have problems. If you do it in one step, some parts will look a little bit freaky, a little bit off. Yeah, would look a little bit off and would not match the whole thing, would overlap in an awkward way, and so I decided to do it step by step so that everything looks nice and fits the whole thing perfectly. Forget about what I'm saying right now, because you will see many things later when we take a tour through the restaurant, where you can see that I'm a completely liar, and yeah, where I have so many things, where I have gaps or things that overlap or stuff like that. Yeah, but what I was going to tell you is that I'm doing these buildings step by step. So if I have something that like an overlapping roof, I'm doing it after I have the ground shell of the building, so that everything matches and fits perfectly, and I can go yeah, I can go crazy with the shapes as well. Putting in some glass pieces here, because I wanted to have some glass doors, some see-through doors, that I'm covering a little bit with those metal pieces from the European DLC, and putting some of this light colored wood in between. in the end I think it looks pretty nice. And yeah, what I was telling in in the last few days, and I think it was in my chat, or was it on a live stream, I am not that kind of guy that builds things with most of the times with with having something researched and rebuilding that or recreating that. I can't do that. My mind doesn't work like that, so I always try to come up with my own ideas. And it's not always that easy, but in the end, many times it works out, and it looks pretty decent, I think. Yeah, here you can already see the inside. I placed the tables. They will change a little bit because I decided I wanted to have some other colors. And here you can already see the path is a little bit off. I couldn't manage to do it differently, and in the end I decided, okay, just leave it that way, and go with it. Because pathing in this game is always a little bit difficult, and especially when you don't look at the size of your building and you want to fit in something in there, makes the whole thing so much harder. Yeah, so what I was doing here is to cover the elevated path, which was not that easy, but in the end I managed it, and it looks pretty okay. And I had to fight this little piece of the terrain as well. And also you can see on the right side there's still something of the glass barrier inside of the building, which annoys me so much, but I can't get rid of it. Because if I would get rid of it, I would need to to delete the water, and you know what happens when I delete the water after there is path and buildings and barriers and stuff. We would never be able to get the water level on the same level that it is right now. So I thought, okay, this is a death, I have to die, and I just have to go with it. Maybe I'm going to do some decoration around it and make it like a art wall or something like that. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure I will come up with some ideas for that. Maybe you guys have an idea what I can do with this, and if you do so, just let me know in the comment section. Please let me know in the comment section. And here I was trying to put in some more of our flower walls for this part of the building and make it look a little bit nicer, do some decoration. Yeah, here you can see the point in the game where I was so annoyed with it, but yeah. Yeah, the front to the habitat for the underwater viewing does look a little bit plain, so I decided I have to go into that again and do some decorations, have these temple pieces around it, have some wood pieces and some metal pieces around it as well, and have some decoration on our walls. And I also do something that I don't do most of the times. I put in many lights. So I work with lighting, and in the end, when the whole building is finished, we will take a tour through the building on daytime and in nighttime as well. And I'm so proud of myself because as I told you, I usually don't work with lighting, but it looks so beautiful inside. I would say it is the best restaurant that I ever built in Planet Zoo, and I really love this building. I don't know if I can put it in the workshop. I could. I possibly could, because I think I put all the pieces together as a group. So in theory this would work. But the placement of the building is so unique and so special, I think you might have difficulties to put it in your zoos. So yeah, just let me know in the comments what you guys think. Do you still want it in the workshop and try if you can put it anywhere, or do you say no, that does only work in the zoo? I'm going to wait until the zoo is finished, so I'm going to download the whole zoo and see what I can do with it. So yeah, as I said, just let me know in the comment section. Yeah, the next part that I was going to do was preparing for our roof, because the main part of the indoor area of the building is finished right now, so that we can go with the roof without having any difficulties to finish the building on the inside. I started with some kind of support with some wooden beams around it. And here you can see once again what I'm doing right here with building the roof, doing it part by part. Always placing down stuff, turning it around, copying it around until it fits. And this is the only way when you do stuff like that, where you can make it match as perfect as possible. And I also was looking for a name for the restaurant, and the one thing that came into my mind immediately when I was building it was the Orchid, because I thought that matches the whole thing perfectly with the flower walls. And yeah, so this was the name that was immediately in my mind, and I was thinking, yeah, this is do you know what I mean? You look at something and you have a name. It's like mothers with their babies. So you think 9 months about your baby and what you would name it, if it is a boy or if it is a girl, and you come up with so many different names. And then the little child is born. You look at it and there it is. You immediately know the name of it, and that was something that I almost knew from the beginning when I was building those flower walls. I was thinking, yeah, the Orchid, that's the name. Yeah, you guys, I didn't address the elephant in the room. The new Planet Zoo DLC will arrive in a few days. Yeah, it is already time for a new one. We got the last one just not even 2 months ago. Yeah, and there is already a new one. We are receiving a new animal pack. So most of us were thinking that the last DLC would have been an animal pack because of the timeline of Planet Zoo DLCs. Yeah, but the Twilight pack was something completely different, and yeah, so here we are, new animal pack. Unfortunately, none of the animals in the new animal pack will make an appearance in Waveland Park, because you know we only have animals that live in or close to the water, and none of the new animals do so. So we have the blue wildebeest. Wildebeest is the correct pronunciation. We have the striped hyena. We have the caracal, the 9-banded armadillo, if I'm correct. We also do have the emu, the Bennett's wallaby, and the maned wolf, and butterflies. So the only animal that I could imagine to make an appearance here in Waveland Park would be the butterflies. Maybe in something like a reptile house or something like that, or reptile house, amphibian house, or stuff like that. So maybe we can have some butterflies in there as well, but unfortunately none of the other animals will make it to Waveland Park. As there is no animal from the Twilight DLC as well, well, maybe the raccoon could have been something that you possibly could have seen in Waveland Park, but unfortunately none of the other animals. So yeah. On the other hand, that's not as bad, because that does mean, and this might sound a little bit negative to you, that Waveland Park is going to come to an end at some point. And that is something that I'm also looking forward to, because sometimes it is very exhausting to have a huge park like I have with Swamp Lake Zoo, and I already had with Arizona Adventure Park. So sometimes it is better when you have smaller parks that are more specialized in some kind of animals or some kind of an area, habitats, or stuff like that, so that you don't get burned out after quite some time. So don't get me wrong, I'm far from burned out when it comes to playing Planet Zoo, but yeah, sometimes it is pretty exhausting. And for that reason, and also for the reason that I have so many new ideas what I want to do in the future, so yeah, that makes me pretty happy when I see that a project is running towards its end. Yeah, but we're still far from that in Waveland Park. We have to finish the area here with the river's edge. I almost forgot the name of it. God forbid. Yeah, we still have stuff to do on the in the river's edge, like the habitat for the small clawed otters. That will be the next one, and the last habitat in this area that is going to be for the platypus. And after that, I think we are going for some bigger and more spectacular animals, and I'm thinking of a show arena where we can see the Californian sea lions and also the gray seals. So that is something that I definitely want to have in the park. And after that, I think we only have one area left that is going to be a big reptile house, where we will have some more of the other crocs in there, like the what is it called? Is it, no, it's not the Nile crocodile. The saltwater crocodile, American alligator, and also the spectacled caiman. I think it is the spectacled one, or do we have the spectacled already in the croc aviary? I don't know. Yeah, one caiman species is left. And I also want to have the Nile monitor in there, and as I told you, maybe the butterflies and some exhibit animals as well. So that is what's going to happen. In the beginning, when I started to build this park, I also was thinking about putting in a habitat for the polar bears, because I was thinking about SeaWorld. And if I'm not completely wrong, SeaWorld in Orlando has or had polar bears in the polar dome zone, whatever, where the beluga whales are in, and also the walrus are in there. So I think there were polar bears as well, and that was what I was thinking about when I started this park. But I'm not that sure if that's going to happen, because if I would have had polar bears, it would make sense to connect it to our polar zone where we have the king penguins in there. So yeah, you never know what the future brings, but at this point, I don't think that you will see polar bears in the game. In Waveland Park. Now, I'm also thinking about changing the path here because I think it doesn't fit the whole area here anymore. But yeah, you guys can also tell me what you think about that in the comment section. But here we are. The orchid is finished. So let's have a look at it. And doesn't it look beautiful? I'm totally in love with that building. With the lights in here, with those lampshades and the seating area on the ground, and I think it might have a chance to look really beautiful once the habitat outside is finished. So I can't wait for you guys to see the finished habitat, even though I didn't even start to build it. Well, you might see in about 2 weeks, I guess. So 2 weeks from now, okay, might be a Christmas present. So what you think about that? Okay, but now let's enter the orchid in our round-shaped building with the underwater viewing area. And I really, really, really like the path that is going down there. The seating area with the candles on the tables, and here this nice underwater view. That immediately gives me some kind of a holiday feeling. Yeah, and here you see what I meant as I was talking about some gaps and some not so beautiful things inside the building, where I will definitely go over in one of the next episodes, definitely. So, but we're changing to nighttime, and I'm going to leave you guys with the beautiful views here. Enjoy it. If you like the video, leave a like, subscribe so you won't miss any further stuff on my channel, and have a great time and enjoy the rest of the video. Bye.
Ah, mo han pas le water.